Canadians unfortunately aren't saving enough money for retirement, so the government of Canada decided to step in and try and ease that burden a little bit by increasing what Canadians should get from their CPP with something that's called the CPP Enhancement. Now, this has nothing to do with the fact that people thought CPP was running out of money. That fund is actually doing really well. And before I begin, I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody that has subscribed to my channel since I started it about 2.5 years ago. I got to 1,000 subscribers, which was awesome for me. Please subscribe if you haven't. I make new videos every week and try and teach people in an easy to understand fashion, and I obviously don't talk very fast, so you should be able to figure it out pretty easily. I'm not going to go back and try and fully explain CPP or old age security in this video, but if you haven't watched them already, I would recommend that you watch my videos on CPP and OAS. I'll put a link in on YouTube before you go forward or afterwards. But I will explain the things that actually do matter in this case. So first you need to understand why you get the amount of CPP that you get in retirement, and it is completely based on how much you have put in there along with your employer over the course of your career. So it depends on how much money you make each year, and then there's a calculation that suggests how much you have to put in along with your employer. So a typical Canadian employee over the age of 18, they're going to have to put into CPP on any amount they make over $3,500 a year, which is called the basic exemption amount, up until YMPE, which is the yearly maximum pensionable earnings. In 2019, that number is $57,400. So I mean, basically you're paying a percentage of the amount in between there. Anything on top of that, you are not contributing to CPP on there. And if you don't make that amount, you're just contributing up until how much money you make. So, and the other thing that you need to understand is that what CPP's goal is originally, or was originally, is that it wanted to replace a quarter of a Canadian's income up to that maximum in retirement. But since Canadians aren't saving enough, companies don't offer pension plans as much anymore. A whole bunch of other factors, they've decided to try and increase it to get to about 1/3 of what your pre-retirement income is. And then your other sources are going to make up the difference: personal savings, pensions, OAS. So basically, your employer also has to put in exactly the amount of money that you do. So up until YMPE, that number, so it's $53,900. If you made over $57,400, you are going to pay 4.95% of your income on that. And your employer is going to have to match that. If you're self-employed like myself, then I have to put in both portions. I have to put in for myself, and because I'm my own employer, so I have to double that amount. And so this year, that number is $2,668 each. Now, basically, the only other good thing you need to know is, so that's how you find out, like, if you've made over that amount your entire career, then you're going to get maximum CPP. But if you haven't, then you're not going to get the maximum amount of CPP in retirement. However, you can go onto the CRA website and kind of figure out your estimate of what you're going to get down the road. Another nice thing that the government actually does with this is they allow you to take off your 17% of lowest earning months or years or whatever, which basically equates to 8 years. So you can just subtract off your worst 8 years. You're going to school, you just started a job, maybe you're out of work for a year. You can take those out. So you can still get maximum CPP even though you didn't always get over that amount. And then for new mothers or parents, if you're the primary caregiver, then you can basically take off 7 years per child. But it's not like 7 years each child, it's 7 years after the year that they were born. So if you had a kid in 2010 and then in 2012, well, you can take off from 2010 to 2019 and just throw those years out if you weren't contributing to CPP or contributing the maximum. So that's nice for mothers or parents. And now that is why the average Canadian receives today $679 per month in CPP benefits, but the maximum amount that a Canadian can receive is $1,154. Now in today's dollars, what they're trying to do is increase those numbers to $1,019 per month and $1,731 a month for average and maximum respectively. I'm so pumped that I got to use respectively in one of my videos because, you know, it's just unreal. Now the bad news here is I assume most people that are really looking into CPP and watching videos on the internet right now are closer to retirement and trying to figure this out. And for those people, this really isn't going to help you at all. If you're not retired yet, this might increase it a tiny little blip on the radar. But if you're totally retired already, this isn't going to change anything. What's going to happen is this is supposed to take full effect for somebody that is 25 years old and younger. So by the time this will be maxed out by the time people that are that age reach 65 and older start taking CPP. I'm somewhere in the middle because I'm 37 years old. So I am going to get a little bit of a benefit from this, but not as much as a 25-year-old. That makes sense. So how are they going to make this work? And that's really the only point of this video, but obviously it took me a while to get here. Well, it's going to happen in 2 steps. So the first step is going to help every single Canadian, no matter what. This is going to help you because what it's going to do over the course of the next 5 years, starting this year, it's going to take your contributions from 4.95% a year up to 5.95% a year 5 years from now, and your employer is going to match that. So it's going to work in this schedule. So this year it's going to go to 5.1% each. Next year it's going to go to 5.25% each. The year after that, 5.45% each. 2022, 5.7% each. And 2023, 5.95% each. So that's step 1. That's going to help everybody because now you're going to have 2% increase in savings into your Canada pension plan every single year. Doesn't matter how much money you make. Well, the next step is going to try and help people that earn a little bit more. Because if you think about it, okay, let's say you make $80,000 a year, well, you're not getting a quarter of your income replaced by CPP because it's only replacing a quarter of that number up to $57,400. So it's trying to help people that make a little bit more. And step 2 is going to happen in 2024 and 25. And what it's going to do, and this is hard because the numbers move every single year with inflation, so I'm just going to pretend it's happening this year, which it isn't, is they're going to have a second step that is 14% higher than what YMPE is. So today, sorry I have to look at my number because it's a weird one. Today that's going to be $65,436. So in between $65,436 and $57,400, you and your employer are both going to have to contribute an extra 4% on that amount. So that's going to be 8% on that chunk in there, and that's going to be a moving target. So That's going to increase your CPP a little bit. That's going to be approximately, in today's dollars, $321 per year each, with you and your employer. Um, I think I have mixed feelings about the CPP enhancement. I think it will probably benefit most people in the long run, and cost our country and taxpayers less in the long run, because it's the employers and us putting in. It just kind of hurts people that have been really diligent saving, or would have been, or employers who have large staffs and already treat them to good group retirement programs, because their expenses are going to go up and they're already paying a lot of money into those things. So I have mixed feelings. I'm kind of glad it's happening, but I don't know what else to think, and sorry, I can't do the math on how this is going to affect you just yet, and if you want to ask questions like that. But next week I'll talk about when to take CPP and OAS and why, and just sort of the pros and cons. There's no fast, straight rules on how to decide when to do this, but it's a very important decision in retirement. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.